opportunities must be seized and must be taken advantage of. So it's up to us to reach out and to seize these moments, and meet the moment.
Holding a public office is challenging, lots of work, but also very fulfilling.
Building more affordable housing and enabling our policy to incentivize these affordable housing to come out of the ground is key to that success. The ability to listen and the ability to have patience. It takes a lot of work and it takes a lot of tenacity and patience to be a public official. And those are some of the things that we keep learning every day.
Sublime Podcast.
Hey folks, exciting person with me today, somebody who I don't usually talk to over this kind of format, but I think somebody who deserves to be heard and deserves to talk about how they ended up where they are and what they are having for the community and for the future. I have Anders Fung with me, who is currently a mayor of a wonderful city of Millbrae.
Can I call you Gene?
You can call me you, however. I lived in Boston. I think it's a good topic to start with. Boston is huge on the food trucks. And food trucks is usually where like 50 people around the food truck. And when you start giving people in the food truck names, there is a high chance that you're going to be like 3 more guys in the very same crowd. So because they need to, when they give you the order, they are calling your name. So I had the nickname of Sparky.
That's interesting.
You are coming from...
I was born and raised in Hong Kong.
Hong Kong, yeah, correct. Anders is an immigrant. For an immigrant, he went really well, really far in his career. And there are reasons why Anders is in politics now. And we are going to ask all those questions. But before we jump in, how do you feel about being on the podcast?
Oh, it's wonderful. I mean, I cannot be more thankful to have an opportunity to meet all your audiences and have these discussions about where we come from, where we must be going to. The immigrant community has gone through a lot, and as far as both the Asian Americans, Latinx communities, and even some of the Eastern European immigrants who came to the country, we've suffered a lot. We've endured a lot. And much of our success needs to be earned. And just like anybody else in this country, success needs to be earned. And we need to continue to provide that pathway of success to every willing heart who come to this country. So having this opportunity to meet everyone in the audience in front of the camera, behind the TV today, and all the readers, this is an exciting opportunity.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. And I'm always fascinated by people who are going such a long way and the motivations. I can learn a lot from you, and I think the learnings from you that you'll be talking about through the podcast might be useful for a lot of other people who are coming from maybe another country and are trying to get somewhere and trying to become somebody who they don't know how to, and they want to drive value and give back to the community, and you would be a really good example for that.
Yeah, and just like what I was saying a moment ago, I want to be able to use this time as an elected official and just to let everyone know that success is earned and that we all deserve that equal and equitable amount of opportunities to that pathway to success. So, to that end, would love to have this greater dialogue with all of our audiences today.
Wonderful. Anders, could you talk a bit more about how it all started? You went to California Polytechnic State University for an engineering degree. And I also saw that you worked at one of the tech companies, tech giants, which the name is out there. And if you want to name them, but it's up to you.
It's public information.
Yes, it's public information. It's interesting how you pivoted, right? So I guess, was pursuing engineering degree something that you wanted to do for yourself, or is it more driven by, say, like maybe the family pressure, family expectations, assumption that you should use your talents in STEM degrees? Like, how did you get into engineering first?
Yeah, that's an interesting question, and it's a great question because it all goes back to where I come from, my Asian roots. First came to the country at 1991, aspire to go to higher education in this country. And so, I got to think about what and how to invest my time, my resources, and my opportunities. And STEM degree, coming from an Asian background, we like to make sure that as we go to school and invest in our own future, that there's a job at the end of that journey.
Yeah.
As we embark on higher education, it's a costly investment. It's a huge investment to invest 4 years of your time and all your life savings into your higher education, which is certainly well worth it. So wanting to make sure that there is a job at the end of that journey, I was lucky enough to be admitted and graduated from Cal Poly San Luis Obispo and receive a computer engineering degree at a time back in the 90s, in the mid 90s. It was one of the most popular degree you can receive, because that was when the technology was booming in the Silicon Valley, and I was fortunate enough to be hired by Cisco System, a small networking company at the time.
At the time, yeah.
At the time, and I think I was employee 2000, right around that time.
Wow.
And so, fortunate enough to be hired before I graduated, have a job waiting for me when I graduated, come back to Silicon Valley, and started my technology building career.
Would you say that your degree helped you outside of like direct implementation of like your engineering skills? Like say you went into business and politics after that. Do you still use the knowledge you gained from the university?
Yeah, I think knowledge is earned and it stays with you. It's one of the greatest investment we can make for ourselves, because no matter where you go, no matter what you end up doing and challenges you face, your knowledge is your base. Your knowledge is your best tools to continue to learn and to continue to solve problems. And the more of those problems you're able to solve, the greater success you will be. So I think, investing in yourself and bringing about those greater knowledge for yourself, and also empower folks around you by having that knowledge, by having that ability to solve problems as you move forward. Because, there are a lot of challenges in life that requires all those experiences that you build up based on the knowledges that you achieve, that you've obtained, and your success builds on that.
Engineering is not as much as it is like building things, but it is about problem solving.
Absolutely.
And problem solving is a skill which can be useful
and logic.
Anywhere.
And
logic.
Facts.
And facts.
Right?
Yes.
Because as you look at engineering degree, a lot of it surround around physics and mathematics, logics and facts, and what's correct and what is incorrect. So, and precision is also extremely important as well. And it's particularly relevant in this day and age, because, basing our informations and basing our conversations and decision on facts, on truth, has never been more important in the history of our time.
Exactly. Like those days when you read something, you don't know if it's fact or if it's something which machine learning algorithm generated for you, which is very, very believable. So check your sources, folks. Awesome. Okay. What was your motivation to kind of start, get involved with business, become an entrepreneur, and kind of chase this quintessential American dream where all roads are open for you and, money is right around the corner?
So I think I've spent 7-8 years in technology, working as an engineer, as a software engineer, and then wind up working into the device driver. And, sort of in the end, I was having a patent with Cisco System that practically invented a way to do encryption and make VPN and also eventually networking security possible today. And I was very proud of that. But also at the same time recognizing the fact that as you continue to grow professionally, that you also have a family, you have additional responsibilities, and your life priorities kind of change a little bit,
Yeah.
right, as you progress. So having my own businesses and reinvesting in my own skills and reinvesting in my own self has always been something that intrigues me. So right around 2002 to between 2002 2004, that's when I begin to venture out and build my own business. And then eventually, real estate has always been a passion of mine as well.
Yeah.
So I, somehow found myself a way to engage in real estate and into redevelopment, development, rehabbing undervalued property to bring about greater valuations and values to the end users. And being able to do that, that's the beginning of my entrepreneurial career.
Yeah, and like my understanding is that you've been focusing on sustainability and affordability of the real estate. Can you talk a bit more about like what is affordability by design? Like how does it work?
Yeah, so absolutely. So ever since I began my career in real estate, I would say back in 2008, right, which is about 16, 17 years now, just about. I've always interested in attacking the problem of the lack of affordability here in California, and the lack of housing opportunity here in California. I mean, there's just so much housing insecurity all around, not just the Bay Area, but throughout the entire state. So, I grew up in the city of Hong Kong, where a vast majority of the people lives in very dense housing. Much of them still lives in, really affordable, heavily government subsidized housings as well. I grew up in a 200 square foot apartment with a family of 7. So I know what it's like to be growing up without the obvious abundance, under public housing, and to come to the country first in 1991 and be able to live in an 800 square foot, 2-bedroom apartment. To me, that's a luxury already as it is.
Yeah.
But yet, throughout the entire California and certainly throughout the Bay Area, affordable housing come far few in between. So, land use, it's about creativity. I mean, you cannot grow the land easily, but you can certainly find creative way to make greater use and higher and better use of a certain piece of property, as long as your creativities fits within the land use destination. So to that end, being able to build more efficient housing, do more with less, and be able to put more people in the same box, so to speak. It's our way in the Bay Area and also in California to make sure that we can get out of this housing crisis that we found ourselves in. Being able to build more affordable housings with more economic means, be more efficient about our design. Just as an example, I mean, I recently have been a champion for a local density bonus program in the city of Millbrae, where we want to incentivize property owner who has smaller properties to develop, more dense, medium to higher density housing in our downtown area, with unit count that is higher, and yet the unit size is more affordable and more efficient. I mean, continue to build a 2,000 square foot condo that is going to be worth $2.5 million is not exactly the most affordable way to go. So we just got to somehow find a way to bring about more affordability and more efficiency out of our building practices and our design ideas.
Great. And I think it's a great segue to my next question. If we were to build more affordable housing, where are we going to get the land?
Yeah. So just like what I said a moment ago, land use requires creativity. And it requires us to think outside the box a little bit sometimes. Just because there is a 5,000 square foot piece of property doesn't mean you build one house on it.
Sure.
Land use, it's about finding ways to do more with less. So to that end, we need to find ways to increase sensible density, to bring about sensible density, both commercial and residential. Sensible density into transit-rich areas where you can encourage folks to use more walking and more biking, get to and from work and home through public transportations, rather than driving their private vehicles, which, by the way, takes up a lot of space for parking. Yeah. So, and also reliance on petroleum and fossil fuel, which, quite frankly, is not the best to our environment and our global warming. To that end, being able to design and build with greater flexibility on sensible density, more efficient design, and it's. I grew up in a city where most people lives in apartment that are less than 1,000 square feet, right? A 500 square foot apartment could have 3 bedrooms in it. So those are some of the design ideas and practices that we need to bring about in this country. Same thing, not just Asia, but also in Europe as well. There's a lot less land available in Europe, and yet there's, there are many people living.
Many more. Yeah, much
many
more
more
than space overall.
Living in metropolitan area, who get used to and be able to live comfortably in smaller spaces. So creativity is key, and being willing to accept the fact that we need to be more efficient and more creative with our land use policies.
Yeah, folks, it's exciting. So I think we are going to see Millbrae transforming into massive metropolitan, which primarily grows, I guess, up and down rather than, like right and left horizontally. So that, I guess that's where you're kind of going with this.
Well, we all needs to be conscientious about this, is that when it comes to housing, we need to look at it through the lenses where is our children going to live? I mean, it comes down to the question that for those who already have housing, is where's our children and our grandchildren going to live? Are they going to be able to find some place to live that is affordable, that is close to where we are? Or do we expect our children to live far away from where we are today? And if the answer is yes, we want our families and our children and our grandchildren to be close to where we are, and that they are afforded the same opportunity to live in this great place called the Bay Area, we got some decisions to make. Is whether or not we will be willing to accept them being far away, or be able to build more housing, more creative and more dense and more efficient housing closer to home.
I love this topic. So when you talk about children, do you mean like immediate, like 20 years from now, or do you encounter like global warming, raising of the oceans and everything? Because Bay Area by itself might be underwater, say in like 200 years.
Yeah, so there has been a lot of effort in terms of how to combat global warming, and also the rising sea level, which is a major concern for all of us. So I am part of the Peninsula Clean Energy, which is a California CCA, and we provided 98% of the electrical resources and electricity for the entire San Mateo County, and I'm one of the executive board of directors on that organization. And we're proud to say that we continue to deliver 100% clean energy to the entire San Mateo County. We got to find a way to be more environmental friendly, so that we can continue to deliver energy and power the entire state with a lot less pollution. I mean, as of today, more than 70% of the energy being consumed in the United States are being generated by fossil fuel, some form of fossil fuel. And yet, despite much of the effort by the state as well as the federal government to incentivize the generation of electricity through solar and wind and other renewable means, we're still far short on our spectrum of trying to be more, being more clean and being more green and being more renewable. So much effort needs to be dedicated to making sure we find solutions to be more energy independent, and that we can continue to reduce our reliance on fossil fuel.
Amazing. So do you have more ideas besides switching away from fossil fuels and maybe like using batteries in cars, using solar panels for electricity instead of like PG&E kind of like. So what else do you have in your like idea box for going away from?
Yeah, I think from an energy perspective, we're looking towards more of a distributed model, where energy needs to be produced and consumed more locally.
Okay.
So, for example, I mean, if you have an apartment complex that is 100 units, we got to find ways to, based on your rooftop and your carport, if there is any, or any other surface area, we need to find every possibility to install as many high-intensity solar panel possible with battery backup, so that throughout the day, whether it's day and night, whether or not rain or shine, whether or not Mr. Sunny goes to work on that day, that there is sufficient electricity and sufficient power being delivered to everyone who needed it. And so to that end, I think battery is going to work ourselves into the next phase of our renewable energy strategy to ensure that we have higher resiliency and higher availability on our renewable energies.
Beautiful. Do you track usage of renewable energy for the whole city of Millbrae? Like, can you say things like, say, when you started your position, the city was, say, at 10%, 90% of energy was coming from fossil fuels, and now it's, say, like at 25. Do you have like any?
I will say that, ever since I have been appointed to Peninsula Clean Energy on behalf of City of Millbrae,
Yes.
It is my goal, and it is also the work that I have been doing to continue to bring more resources to the City of Millbrae and to my city from the success of Peninsula Clean Energy. Recently, Peninsula Clean Energy has been in discussion of how to relocate $68 million of surplus funding.
Surplus funding.
Surplus
That's a nice problem to have.
Well, because we have run a very efficient and very successful organization. So $68 million of surplus funding. And I was part of the surplus fund committee. And we've decided that we're going to bring these resources back to our jurisdiction. And
Wonderful.
so hundreds of thousands of dollars will be coming back to the City of Millbrae to continue to fund our renewable energy effort, whether it is solar panel, whether it is to fund battery installation to increase our resiliency, and changing our street lights to more solar-based with batteries so that we can get rid of our reliance on grid electricity. Those are all the efforts that I have been bringing back to the City of Millbrae, and also the resources that I bring back to my city as part of the work that I've been doing at PCE on behalf of my city. So those are the important initiatives that will continue to make Millbrae successful in being more resilient and lessen our dependency on a grid that is currently failing all of us.
Beautiful. And speaking about bringing back to your community. So I know you've been involved in Millbrae Lions Club and self-help for elderly. So this is like, I think both are charities. There is a lot to do, and charities are clearly an attractive organization to be part of. But again, like raising money for charities is even more difficult than, say, when you just do business for profit. So what did you learn about raising money for charities, and what you learned is working in terms of attracting capital, and what maybe not so much?
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to be a part of the Millbrae Lions Club.
Yeah.
And as part of my work as a council member and now as a mayor, I've been front and center in supporting self-help for the elderly because the senior community deserve all of our help. We've dedicated funding for them, and we provided them with space within our city. I mean, needless to say, self-help for the elderly has done a lot of work for our senior community as well. They bring resources, they bring volunteers, and they bring food to serve our senior in our city, in our county of San Mateo. So it only behooves us to work with them to continue to expand these services so that we can continue to enrich the golden years of our seniors. And working with the Lions Club, during the pandemic, we've successfully delivered over 6,000 face masks and PPE to those folks who are in need of these critical resources at a time when they needed it the most. And between, Peninsula Chinese Business Associations and Millbrae Cultural Committee, we continue to deliver these services to those who needed it, between food insecurity, between our senior community, between our children who are in school every day, who needs additional technology resources. I mean, during the pandemic, Peninsula Chinese Business Association, of which I was a part of, delivered over $100,000 to the Millbrae School District, so that during the pandemic, we delivered those resources to the school district for the purpose of hiring a practitioner nurse so that the children can get back to school quicker, faster, and safer. And to that end, our children benefit because they can get back to school a lot faster rather than staying at home and trying to learn via remote learning, which is difficult, frankly, for younger children.
Yeah, and learning for sure is a group activity.
Absolutely.
Much more efficient than being alone.
Absolutely. And to have them being isolated in their own home for our children is not the best thing to do. Certainly not the best thing for anybody, for that matter, especially our children and our seniors. So to that end, being able to provide those resources to benefit our children, our youth community, self-help for the elderly that is able to continue to benefit our senior community to break up their isolation cycles and being able to let them congregate again, providing them with 5 days of lunch program within the city of Millbrae and providing them with waivers and resources. Being a champion for the most vulnerable part of our community is something that I have done, and is something that I will continue to do as a mayor.
Beautiful. Yes, and I want to bridge to your motivation for becoming a mayor.
So, I think part of the question is, why do I choose to enter public service?
Yes.
And to that end, as an immigrant, coming to the country back in 1991, that's 23 years ago. I still remember today is January 11th. And I came to the country in 1991, January 29th. So in about 2 weeks, it'll be exactly 33 years ago when I first came to the country, landed in SFO as a kid. And so to reflect upon 33 years ago, that journey, a 33-year journey in this country, I was blessed with the opportunity that this country has given me.
Yeah.
The community that has my back and supported me throughout. And I want to be able to, now that I have an opportunity to not have to worry about where my next meal is coming from, and my kids are doing well and growing in this very community that I'm part of, I want to be able to have an opportunity to give back to the same community who has given me so much, to the country that has given me so much. And then by the same token, at the same time, if I can succeed as a kid, coming to America back in 1991, I want this work, I want this campaign, this mayorship, to be the living testimony that every kid right now hopping off an airplane coming from Asia or anywhere in the world who aspire to come to America as an immigrant to succeed has the same opportunity that I did 33 years ago, and be just as successful, if not more successful, than Anders. If Anders can do it, so can you.
Beautiful.
And that is what I want to make sure, and that's what this mayorship represents. That's what this work represents, because everyone deserves the same opportunity to succeed as long as they play by the rule and work hard and work smart. This is a country of opportunity. That's what's being promised to everyone. And it's incumbent upon all of us to make that a reality rather than just being on a piece of paper.
My favorite case study would be people who are coming from other countries and achieving so much. And like you're going to be one of them, but my role model is Arnold Schwarzenegger.
From Austria?
From Austria, who came here without even knowing any language.
Absolutely.
And bam, he went all the way to the governor.
And he became a successful entertainer. He became a successful role model in the entertainment industry.
Yes.
And eventually he gave back to the community as a governor. So that, to me, that's also a wonderful story. And it goes to show that if you work hard, you play by the rule, you can succeed in this country. And that's the message we want to show everyone in this country, that as long as we come together and bring positivity to everyone's lives, positivity perpetuates itself. And that's what we need to do. As a leader of your own community, that's what we need to spread. We want to bring people together, not divide them.
Just stay positive and share your energy with your community.
Absolutely.
It will get back to you. Okay, I wanted to get more focused, and again, like Sunyung provided those questions, so I am going to ask her questions on her behalf. So in general, can you talk a bit more about the direction for Millbrae as a city? How do you see Millbrae in next 5, 10, maybe 15 years?
Absolutely. If you take a stroll down Millbrae Avenue, let me just take you back, 2020.
Yeah.
I mean, Millbrae historically has been viewed, and it's people's perception that it's kind of a sleepy little town. It's kind of a bedroom community. But if you stroll down, get off of 101 right now, Millbrae Avenue exit, and you start driving up the overpass, you see some brand new development coming into the city. And ever since 2020, ever since I got elected, I have been front and center in terms of my priority to focus on economic development. And I'm happy to report that we've had nearly 1 million square foot of office space and lab and office space for the life science industry are coming into the city of Millbrae. And it's the first time ever that we're going to have a corporate headquarter for an international company coming into our city, and we're going to bring in 4,000 new high-paying jobs as a result of that effort. And all these efforts came about right after 2020. And today, 2024, I'm happy to report that they're coming to fruition. Wonderful. And these 4,000 new high-paying jobs, it's going to be our daytime edition. They are going to kickstart, and it's going to energize our local microeconomy. And also, when I first joined the city of Millbrae as a planning commissioner, we've approved the TOD project number 2, which is known as the gateway of Millbrae at this point, which is right next to our BART station. Also very excited to report to all of you that location has just now been leased up with a future possibility of purchase by Sam Tran. That's also going to bring in hundreds, if not thousands, of jobs into our city. It's going to fill the 157,000 square feet of office space. And all these retails on the ground floor are getting leased up as we speak, despite the economy where we are today with this high interest rate environment. So we're excited about these brand new developments and all these opportunities that it brings. In terms of El Camino Real, which is our thoroughfare, I'm also excited to report to everyone that we just brought in $1.5 million from transportation agents, from the Transportation Authority of grant funding to the city of Millbrae to reimagine our El Camino Real, to make our motorists, our cyclists, and our pedestrians safer. Reimagining our El Camino Real is going to change the competitive landscape for our city forever. It's going to kickstart our Grand Boulevard initiatives, make our retail more vibrant, make it more affordable, make it more, bring about more economic opportunity to everyone who want to live, work, and entertain here at Millbrae. Bringing in, and it's going to be front and center sometime in January, that we're going to bring forward the local density bonus program that is going to change the streetscape of our downtown Broadway forever. That is going to enable smaller property owners to redevelop their property with sensible commercial as well as residential density, bring about the changes that our downtown deserve, that our people needs. And that is also going to increase our revenue structure and forever be able to enable our city to be able to afford better services and better public safety for every single one of our residents.
Beautiful. And I'm also confident that all those initiatives will bring additional revenue to the city, because you are someone who has experience with the surplus budget.
Yeah,
so I think you can repeat this here.
Economic development is key. I mean, I will say, every city has $10 it needs and $1 of revenue to fund them.
Correct.
The question is, how do you get the second dollar? How do you get the third dollar? How do you get the fifth dollar? So that you can continue to fund the much needed services that our residents deserve. And that's the angle at which I try to look through all of my decisions in my city and to the people that I represent, to the people that I work for.
Beautiful. Okay, let's move on. Next question from Sunyung again. Recently, many citizens are having difficulties making a living. So I think we're talking about, this, unfortunately, for folks who are maybe a bit lower on the income revenue scale. How do you plan to support folks who are maybe struggling with paying all the bills and have to rely on subsidies, have to rely on the government, on charities?
Yeah. So to that point, let me be clear. First of all, we have a lot of housing insecurity here in San Mateo County, if not the entire state of California.
Because of how expensive it is, yes.
Continue building more affordable housing and making housing more affordable by design is key to resolving some of the issues. It's difficult to subsidize housing, but rather it is a lot more effective if we incentivize private property owners to build more affordable housing by design, so that everyone, can aspire to be homeowners in California someday. And that's the goal we're driving towards. And those must be the initiative and the solutions-oriented mindset that we must carry as we try to make some of these decisions. So, building more affordable housing and enabling our policy to incentivize these affordable housing to come out of the ground is key to that success. Secondarily, continue to make sure that public transportation is affordable, it's clean, it's on time, and it's safe. People need to feel safe, going on to a public transportation so that they can go to and from work and not have to rely on their private vehicle.
Correct. Bart would be an example here.
Right. So, driving from work, say from Castro Valley to San Francisco every day is a challenge because you have to pay for the bridge, you have to pay for the toll, you have to pay for the gas, and most importantly, you have to pay for the parking.
Yeah.
And after you found parking, your window might get broken into in San Francisco. So all these challenges comes into play, right? And so to that end, having safe, clean, and effective public transportation would enable those who are less fortunate than all of us to be able to afford the same opportunity to work and play and entertain throughout the entire Bay Area. That's the key. That's a success formula to enable everyone in different levels of economic scale to prosper. Those are some of the main items that I can think of. Obviously, being able to provide a certain amount of subsidy to those who are unable to afford to pay for the fare gate to be on public transportation, whether it's BART or Caltrain or buses. The government has a responsibility, has a role in providing a safety net to those who are less than fortunate.
And of course, making it not just more affordable, but also sustainable. So it uses less of fossil fuel and electric batteries.
Absolutely. And as quickly as we can, between Samtran and San Francisco MTA and, Valley Transportation Authority, where, all these agencies that handles funding and policy making for our public transportations and our buses need to, be more conscientious about the decisions on how to electrify our bus fleets.
Yeah.
So that we can get rid of our reliance on fossil fuel and be more friendly to our environment. I mean, commercial vehicles, larger vehicles, to getting them electrified, that need to be front and center.
Perfect. Great. What is your plan for younger generation, for kids who are about to go to school, maybe want to go to school, maybe want to move into Millbrae? Do you have any initiative to support bringing up new folks who will be the future of the community?
Yeah. So just like I said a moment ago, in terms of strategy, our local density bonus program that we're going to bring forward sometime in 2024, is going to incentivize local property owner to develop additional office space, whereby these educational facility can be started here in the city of Millbrae. Millbrae is a city of families, and we have a lot of seniors, we have a lot of children. And providing additional space and additional opportunities for educational resources, it's monumental to the success of young families. They're likely to, we want to bring in these younger families to live and to work in Millbrae. And one way to enable these opportunities and make it more affordable, it's providing them on-site, additional childcare and additional after-school program, educational opportunities, so that parents can stay at work a little longer if they so choose. And they can also work and also have daycare and also have educational opportunity closer to where they live and closer to where they work, so they spend less time commuting and, have more time for family. Those are some of the initiatives that local density bonus program can and must achieve as we envision these programs.
Perfect. And I never asked if you have your own kids.
Yes, I do. My daughter is 17, and my son is 15. And so they're right about the age of thinking about colleges.
Life, yes.
So they're busy with that right now. But I am blessed because, they have an opportunity to give back and work for the community where they grow up. Seeing my daughter standing in front of the community room with 200 people who witnessed her as since she was a baby and speak in front of them, and being an advocate for her own community, for her own seniors, for her own peers, for her own members that she grew up with, folks and friends that she grew up with. It's amazing. And that's the success that I want to be able to continue to inspire and bring to new generations of Millbrae residents.
Because you've done so much work as a first-generation immigrant, she has so many roads opened for her, and she can become pretty much anything she wants. One thing is, maybe because you set the bar so high, they might be a bit too difficult to kind of, to achieve higher than this. But, well, I mean, it's a free country, right?
Well, I wanted to think that, we set the bar as a starting point for every child. Right? Explaining and inspiring them that, they must do better. If someone, such as myself, who came to the country 33 years ago, who is less than successful in school back then, and if I can do it, if Anders can do it, every child should be able to do better. And we must continue to put in policy today that enable the success of our future generation for years to come.
Great. We have a few minutes left, so I have a couple more questions from Sunyung An, and then we'll go into closings. Any additional ways for the folks from your community to reach out to you?
Yes.
Like, say, email is maybe a standard way, right? But, I mean, with all the, informational noise, emails get lost and so on. So
great question there. Being open and transparent and being accessible is key as an elected official, as a government official. And so to that end, my email, my phone number, they're all a matter of public records. And recently in January 6th, I just held a town hall meeting as a mayor. And I have more than 60, 70 members of my community showing up and lining up to the mic, one after another, and wanted to tell the mayor, what the city should be focusing on. And I'm blessed with the involvement of this advanced and activated community who wanted to talk to the mayor, who wanted to reach out to the mayor, and who want their voices to be heard. I cannot be more thankful to be able to be the person who enable this advanced citizenship to be more involved than ever in our civic matter, because we as a city can only be successful as our constituency want to be successful. And we're even more successful when they want to be involved. So I'm glad that they felt that they can trust me to walk up to the microphone and speak to their mayor and speak their mind and tell us how we should run their city.
Beautiful. And I guess you plan to hold those town halls on some regular cadence.
It is my goal to help multiple town hall meetings this year as a mayor. And, sometime in mid-year, probably we'll do another one just to reach out to the members of the community and telling them, giving them a report as to our progress that we have made. And maybe sometime at the end of the year, hopefully we can do a little year-end wrap-up as well. Getting feedback from the community and building those trust and those conversations, it's monumental to our success as a government.
Perfect. I love it. Love it. Okay, and the question specifically for MomsCareer readers. Do you have any message for MomsCareer readers?
So, whether you're moms or aspiring young girl, the possibility is endless, right? With nowadays social medias and access to information so freely, anyone can start a business. Anyone can give back to the community where they belong. And there's no limitation as to one can do. Whether you're a mom or aspiring young girl or someone who just came to the country last week. So to that end, I would encourage anyone and everyone to reach out and then step up and give back to the same community who has provided them the opportunity. So, with that, I want to thank your time today, and I really appreciate it. All the question and an opportunity to speak to all of our audiences.
Exactly. Yeah, I love it. For someone who is pursuing entrepreneurship,
Yes.
especially if they are immigrants, which
Yes.
is in California, it's pretty much every other person. What would be your advice? How to make sure that they are possessing the right qualities, and how to make sure that they have enough motivation to get to the point where they can start seeing all the returns and all the feedback and all the good that they've done with their activity.
Yeah, I mean, California and this country as a whole is a land of opportunity.
Sure.
Just like what you said, we have a strong and thriving and large, sizable immigrant community. And, this opportunities must be seized and must be taken advantage of. So it's up to us to reach out and to seize these moments, to meet the moment, and seize this opportunity and make that advantageous for ourselves.
Yeah.
So, as a government, we can only offer these opportunities and these pathways to success, but someone has to take the opportunity and walk that pathway
Exactly.
to success. So to that end, I think I would encourage anyone and everyone to reach out. I mean, the government has dedicated much of those resources, like the Renaissance Center in San Mateo County, for example, that offers assistance to immigrants, career advice, advice how to build your own small businesses.
This is beautiful.
And then there are grants, and then there are advisors available to provide answers to questions, and there are all these resources available to you. So they're paid for. They are being offered to you free of charge.
Free of charge.
Free of charge.
Amazing.
And so all you got to do is walk up and speak to one of those advisors, and then get your questions answered. And if you aspire to start your own business, do so. And they will provide you with the proper advice and the paperwork you need to realize your American dreams.
Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, and last one, and we are done. Holding a public office is challenging, lots of work, but also very fulfilling. What kind of qualities do you have you learned, and do you know you have to possess to actually be successful as a public servant?
Yes.
Yes.
The ability to listen and the ability to have patience. Public process is usually not as fast as people like. Usually, I will say, but being able to listen to everyone and try to understand where people come from, because we're in a country where everyone has different opinions to the same facts.
Yes.
Being able to listen, being able to have that patience and not lose sight of the fundamental understanding that people are born to be good and they're born to be reasonable. I think that's important. So, with that said, it takes a lot of work, and it takes a lot of tenacity and patience to be a public official. And those are some of the things that we keep learning every day.
Folks, this was Anders Fung, mayor of Millbrae. Lots of wonderful ideas. I'm excited. I want to move to Millbrae now.
Yeah, and we would love to have you.
Yeah, appreciate this. Come to town halls. There will be at least one this year, maybe a couple, based on what you told me. And also, there is an upcoming election cycle, so this is where you can actually support Anders directly with your vote.
Thank you so much, and thanks for the opportunity to meet everyone today. And we'd love to do that again when you're ready.
Love it.
Thank you so much.